There should be some things that are non-negotiable. Who is going to be in the delivery room should be non-negotiable.
Correct.
It's you, it's whoever made the baby, it's whoever you want in that delivery room. And that should be a non-starter, right?
And I mean, this may be an unpopular opinion, but I don't care. Yes, it takes two people to make a baby. But at the end of the day, if you're at a stalemate, the woman who is having the baby gets to decide who's in. Bottom line, she's the one who's going through it's her body and she's the one who's exposed. This is a medical procedure and you can get yourself in, you want to have a calming environment as you bring a new life into the world. At the end of the day, if you and your significant other, man, woman, whatever, if you're at a crossroads and you can't compromise, you got to defer to the person who's actually delivering the baby.
I guess that makes some sense. I want to argue with you.
Try it.
I don't think I can.
I want to see with that one.
I don't think I can. All right, let me try to play defense attorney. And this is where we have to argue because we're getting paid for the other side. The significant other was just as important to the process of making this baby as the person delivering the baby.
You are, but it's not your private parts that are going to be exposed in the room.
You're not putting your junk on the table.
Yep.
Right.
If you want to drop trowel and just have your thing out the entire time.
Yeah.
Everybody look.
So
it's a full show today.
That's a compromise.
That's good. Yeah. On top, no bottom then.
I'm here to support you, baby girl.
Ain't no problem.
So that's the negotiation. That's the wiggle room right there.
Yeah, I'll tell you what has helped this, though. There hasn't been any arguments about this for 2.5 years because of the pandemic.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, nobody's allowed in there.
Exactly.
But yeah, it should. I mean, mom gets to decide who gets to see her dropping trowel.
Yep.
And then if dad is like, but I have a couple guests, like I have some plus ones, it's like, okay, they can pay for the VIP tickets.
Well, in this case, Amanda, our Bert Show listener, said, hey, on Thursday, can you guys do me a solid? And can you reach out to that mom that was being forced to have her mother-in-law in the delivery room? It was Amber Bland. And she wrote, hey, longtime listener, thank you so much for putting it on a podcast format since I'm in Tennessee now and work from home most days. Anyway, I'd love to know what happened to the woman who used your texting tutor to tell her mother-in-law that she didn't want her in the delivery room. If I remember, this went really sideways, right?
It did.
They usually do with the mother-in-laws.
Yes. Yeah.
It was a texting tutor.
She was texting her as her husband. That's right. To his mother and didn't go well. I hope she was able to have as peaceful a delivery as COVID restrictions would allow. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
So last update with Gina was Monday, March 30th of 2020. So this was right at the very beginning of the pandemic and we didn't know which way it was going to go. And here we are in 2020.
Right.
All right. So Gina and her mother-in-law did not get along. Gina and her husband made the decision together to not have her mother-in-law in the delivery room when she was going to give birth, June of 2020. Gina wanted us to be her texting tutor to let her mother-in-law know she wouldn't be in the delivery room. However, Gina had her husband's phone pretending to be him when she texted her mom-in-law. Gina's mom-in-law wasn't having it, especially since Gina's mom was going to be in the delivery room. Mom-in-law resorted to blackmail, saying, if you expect me to babysit in the future, I get to be in the delivery room. Gina, as her husband, called mom-in-law out, who in turn became passive-aggressive, saying she'd look out for the birth announcement. Gina's husband came home and read the text messages and said we were harsher than he expected. He started to waver and side with his mom to compensate for that. His mom was coming to stay with him for a few weeks after the birth of the baby. We told Gina to tell her husband to man up, so what ended up happening?
Okay, Mo has got the email follow-up.
Hi, Bert Show. Well, I ended up not having to have her in the delivery room because it was at the start of COVID, and I was only allowed my husband with me. My mother-in-law was still angry and even called up to the hospital to complain that she was not allowed to be there.
Come on.
She's one of those. I want to speak to their manager of the hospital.
My husband tried to calm her down and said he would send pictures as soon as the baby was born. When I finally went into labor, she was calling constantly because she wasn't getting enough updates. When he told her I was about to start pushing, she literally tried to FaceTime him to be a part of it. At that point, he just ended up blocking her number until the delivery was over. She was furious at him. Apparently, she then showed up at the hospital, but they wouldn't let her come up. Mm-hmm. My husband and I ended up even lying to her and telling her we weren't coming home until a couple days later because we knew she would be at the house the moment we got home. So, needless to say, I was glad COVID gave me a way to keep her out the delivery room.
Yep.
I only wish it would help me deal with all her other controlling tendencies. We keep trying to draw boundaries, but that often makes things worse. I'd be lying if I said we hadn't considered moving just to get some distance from her. Well, thanks for checking in. I'll let you know if we move.
There are two constants with texting tutor. They never go well with mother-in-laws, and they never go well with sisters. Like we recorded one yesterday where we were helping one sister tell another sister, like, you're way too flirty to mom's new boyfriend and you dress like a hoe. It didn't go well.
No.
Okay, spoiler alert.
And we were nice.
We were nice. We were trying to be nice. So.
Yeah, she was one that ended up turning around on us, man.
Yeah. We'll play that one for you tomorrow, same time.
The Bert Show.